Okay, hello, greetings and welcome. The benefits of fasting. When we look at the profiles of different masters when they had their attainments, almost all of them were in a fasted state or in a ketogenic state, and that they had so little food, their body was in keto, and they're burning the fats of their body and the resources that were stored in the body when they had their attainment. So fasting is my longest fast is 3 weeks. One day I might go up to a 40-day fast. I think that'd be a full detox to really squeeze the stuff in my body that doesn't need to be there. 3 days on, 4 days off is really good. Just the 4 days off, don't have too much junk food, just keep it simple vegan, simple keto food, whichever suits you. And do a lot of meditation during the fast. That's the benefit of it. When you I like 10 to 14 day fasts, they're my favorite. When you do that couple of weeks fast, that's your retreat. You're going to meditate. You're going to have your water. Like over here, we have water that comes in a glass bottle. And in a glass bottle, it's different to plastic. If you're able to get a water purifier to purify water to a very, very high level, you have to put salt back into it, but that's all right. Put salt back into it. Gets all the plastics and stuff out, and you have a better quality water. Especially when you're fasting, you want to have very, very, very clean water. Don't put salt in your water all the time while you're fasting. You can cycle on and off, one with salt, one without. If you're getting any cramping or anything like that during a fast, which I don't normally get, then you'd put more salt in. But you want your body to be a little bit starved of all those things, so it extracts toxins out of the body and pulls everything out. When you're in a ketogenic diet, your body simulates a fast, so it's not identical, but it's pretty close. And the benefits of the open mental space are there. When you're in a fasted state, the matrices are thinned out. When you're in a ketogenic state, the matrices are a bit out there. And that's why all these ascended masters, when they have their attainments, they're in keto. They're in a fasted state. They're in that open matrix state. And because they're so open, they can have those experiences. So if you're become comfortable with fasting and you're doing a retreat, just fast for your retreats. And you'll have far, far greater benefits in those retreats. Having a hermitage or a cabin in the forest, huge benefit for you. If you can manage that, so working around your lifestyle, how often you get to the cabin, spend a week or two in a fasted state and just practice meditation for the week. Bring a lot of water with you, and or a water purifier, and just purify the normal water from the tap, and enjoy practice. It is different. Practice when you're fasting is totally different to practice when you're eating normal foods. And the biggest difference is the mind has energy, but the body doesn't. When I'm fasting, there'll be days where I'm energized, but mostly I'm a bit, no, I'm not going to be too active today. But my mind can concentrate. My mind has all this space it doesn't normally have. Mind's usually contained, now it's free. So starting off with doing 72-hour fasts, get to a week, get to 2 weeks, and become comfortable with fasting. The first 72 hours is the toughest, and it's easy. And it's toughest from day 1. Day 2 is easier, day 3 is easier, and then it breaks and you're good. If you get used to doing 72-hour fasts, say 1 a week for a few weeks, then you'll very, very quickly go, yeah, fasting's easy, no problem. 3 days and 7 days. If you can do 3, you can do 7. If you can do 7, you can do 2 weeks. Going to 3 weeks, that's when I had dizziness. Oh, geez, I'm not feeling too good. days where it's just I had to be careful driving the motorbike between week 2 and 3. So you figure out, you're not driving your car everywhere in the 3rd week of a 3-week fast. You've got to be more careful. And so you do your fast, you choose your practice, and then you practice through just the pleasure and excitement of the practice. It's not okay, I'm here to do this. People who are willfully focused on achieving something in a meditation retreat, they've missed it. The mental space isn't open enough because they're too disciplined. You've got to, this is fun. Oh man, I'm really enjoying this. And you're in the bliss of open space of an energy, working with the deities you're working with the beings, and wow, you're just loving it. So you want to do it all day and every day, and that's what life's about. Then when you're at that place, then your retreat is beneficial. It's not something to push yourself, test yourself, punish yourself. It's nothing like that. This is what practices do instead of gaming. Gamers can be there for 12 hours because they love it. Practices practice for 12 hours because they love it. And that's when you're ready to do retreats. And you have to be comfortable with fasting, and you have to have the joy of practice with those two together and in a hermit type environment, no distractions, and then you enjoy yourself. That's what makes a good retreat possible. So fasting, keto diet, fantastic. If you're vegan, you can work out a way of doing a vegan keto. For me, it was much easier to do more carnivore for a keto diet. It's doable both ways, but much easier with just with meat. If you have any allergies or you're food sensitive, meat is a very neutral for any of those sensitivities. So people who have allergies, when they go onto a keto meat diet, the allergies usually disappear. So it's worth testing if you have any of those problems. If you're just going to do a water fast to put yourself in a ketogenic state, and you're just having water, be very sensitive to your mineral levels and your water levels. So sometimes I'm doing a water fast and I forget to drink water, and then when I'm not drinking the water, I'll get I've got a chest pain. This starts to hurt here and there. My body just starts to lock up. Then drink some more water. That's better. Or add some salt to the water. That's better. And it allows the contraction of the mind. You have to manage the contractions, because when the body starts freaking out, it'll try to get your attention. In order to get your attention, it needs to cling to itself. So the mind, your objective in a fast and a retreat is to get the mind to release time, space, and be out the whole time. It's 1 week of having a relationship to the nature around you, infinite space underneath, the living mind of the universe, and really being out of the house for a week. So you've got to manage what type of water and salts you put into your body to be able to do that. I've had students who do 1 week of no water and no food fasting, and their bodies have coped with it really well. So get to know your body type. I keep the water in there because it reduces the amount of clinging, of pulling back and my body locking up on itself. It's not cramping, it's just contraction for me, but everyone's different. So monitor that when you're doing your fast for spiritual benefit. If you're doing a ketogenic diet and you've done your research and you've looked at all these options, and or a carnivore diet, which is close to keto, to whether it's for the health benefits or meditation benefits, monitoring the way your mental space expands and contracts, like a rhythm of contraction, I'm free and open, and expansion. And in your in your metabolism, the way your body's taking food in, as it takes food and metabolizes it, pulls in a little bit. After you eat, all the books say don't meditate. Why? Because your mental space is contracted to digest the process. After everything starts moving and clearing, you'll feel your mental space rhythmically opening up. Oh yeah, now I can go back into practice. And when you eat, if you're eating one meal a day, you can have a very large meal. Just have a rest or a cat nap after the meal. If you need intellectual media nourishment, do that after the meal, because you can't really get good high quality practice when the body's all contracted into your digestion. And then when you feel the mental space is moving back out again, it's freed up from the digestive process, then you go back into serious practice. And you can find these rhythms in how many times a day you eat. If you eat once a day, lately I've been doing once a day, and if I get really, really hungry, I'll have a little tub of yogurt or a yogurt drink, and especially if the sugar levels go down, I get the shakes, then I'll put a little bit in. So it's really one meal and a bit. And that works incredibly well, because most of the time the mental body's open then. I've only got to get that contraction once a day. And even that little tub of yogurt doesn't contract, doesn't pull everything in. So it's such a small amount that I can stay out. And you'll find your way of doing that. If you're not disciplined with this to get into that keto state, just nourish the mind with information, study it every day, and act upon what you're studying until the habit forms. Convincing yourself that something is good initiates a motivation to act upon it, and then the action creates a habit, and then you get your breakthrough to be able to be successful with it. If you're no, I'm just going to do this and it's all about discipline, you have to be a fire personality type just to break through based on will. For myself, I need to understand something, and when I contemplate the understanding, it gives me this type of motivation to act upon it and make it happen. So the insight mind needs to be nourished in order for the body to follow, and the insight and the feelings, everything, and the body starts, yeah, I can do this with you. And you can get the mental, astral, physical body to agree to achieve something, to do something. And that works well. Okay, so fasting for spiritual development, what do we know? Anyone who's attained anything of value did so in a fasted state. People are always in a fasted ketogenic state in the desert, in the forest, in the mountains when they have their breakthroughs. So we know it works. When the Buddha attained enlightenment, he was in keto. And all the stories going down to different ascended masters, they were in this, that if you eat too much, everything's going to contract, and then you need the expansion to be there. So ketogenic diet, or do some fasting if you want to have high states of experiences. The problem comes in that you have to fast all the time in relation to continually have those high state experiences. And why did the Buddha in the sutra say at 3 a.m. he would enter Nibbana, and he'd do that before sunrise? Because that's when he's in the most ketogenic state, because he had one meal a day for breakfast. Afterwards, he'd go out and collect food and have his breakfast. And then he had all this 20 hours plus time before his meditation, and he entered Nibbana. So he is on a 1 meal a day system. And the time he went in Nibbana is the furthest time away from when he ate before his next meal. So there is something in that 1 meal a day thing. It does work. And when you look at the timing of this 3 a.m., that's interesting, because that's when space is energetically the quietest. You get up at 3 a.m. and you go outside, it's like, wow, the energy's quiet, people are quiet, thinking is quiet, emotions are quiet, everything's quiet at 3 a.m. And that's when he chose to go into that nibbanic state. So think of your rhythms of planning, think of your nutrition, think of the food you're putting in, when you put it in, when you practice. Be sensitive to the expansion and contraction of around your diet, and cut out all processed food. Remember, World Economic Forum, they announced their agendas to depopulate the world. Too many people So all processed foods are toxic. Every one of them will kill you. Eliminate anything processed out of your diet. If they're combining foods and chemicals together to make something, it's designed for depopulation. That isn't a hypothesis, it's a fact. That's just the way the globalists are trying to depopulate the world. And have all these ways, and they've announced it. They tell everyone that's what we've got to do. It's there. So sidestep it by don't eat processed food. Any protein bars now, they're going to have cricket and bug protein in it, made from bugs. So you don't want to put that in your body. So don't have protein snacks. They're toxic. Processed foods, very hard to get a processed food that's good for you. So just have meat and vegetables and fruit. It's simple, it's easy. It's still got toxins in it. If you go organic, great, but it's better than a processed food. It'll kill you more slowly, basically. So unless you can get to an organic farmer to get all your food, then you're safer again. All right, so with keto fasting and practice, I hope that helps with that. People have asked questions around that topic. Master your fasting before you fast on a retreat, and master your practice before you go to retreat, so that you really love it and you're craving the idea of sitting through long periods of time just in these energies. And I like to keep my retreats in the forest, obviously, because I like being in the forest and having walking practice. And there's been days where I've just gone 2 weeks of just continuous practice, and you don't know if it's morning or night unless you open the curtain and sort of, oh wow, so it's already morning. I sat through the night. So there's a type of fun inside of the process of doing that, where you don't care about the time, you don't have any schedule, you don't have any commitments, you just enjoy the practice. And that's really the key to retreating. Don't retreat if you haven't reached that level of enjoyment of the process. Okay, thanks for your time. See you in the next video.